Hello friend, my name is Asindra and today I'm going to continue playing for you Uncommon Time by Feral Phoenix. Now, last time there was a lot of yelling on Alto's part, a lot of apologizing on Teagan's part, and a lot of crying on my part. But Teagan rejoined us and, things are getting better hopefully, and now we're at Luminoso's house because they said that they had some advice for us or something like that. So, I see that you have successfully reassembled your ensemble since we last spoke. Yeah. So, I'm getting straight to the point, but it's still okay to ask for advice, right? Yes. I take it by that phrasing that there is something in particular you would like to ask. There's the score to worry about too, but I don't think that will have any meaning if we don't take care of this first. So what's up? You've never been the most articulate person ever, but that's a lot vaguer than usual. Teagan. No, it's fine. I'm not too sure myself. In what way? I'm not always good at putting this kind of thing into words beyond saying that it's intuition or instinct or whatever. In regards to things like choosing each of you as ensemble members, I've always been 100% sure that my choices are right. I was told before leaving home to trust my instincts about these things because of how important unity is. But this is more like a hunch. I'm pretty sure, but not completely. Alto. The thing with Teagan was definitely one of the problems that made the world tuning fail, but I know there has to be more to it than that. I've been thinking about it all this time. I think the rest of the anomaly might be because of me. How do you mean that? I mean that feelings are important to this ritual. Our feelings towards each other, towards music, towards the world tuning itself. And there have been a few times over the course of the journey when there's been some kind of restlessness or unease, I think. Like background noise in my head, or the winds just before a storm in my chest. I don't know what to call it, but sometimes I've had feelings like that and don't know why. Kind of like a sense that there's something wrong here, but I don't know what or why. That's kind of vague. Like misgivings or reluctance? That's the thing, I don't know. At first I thought I should just ignore it because I've been doing everything that I'm supposed to. I've followed my family's directions and I'm fulfilling my duty. But there's a chance that whatever that feeling is, it created enough of a distortion for me to mess up the world tuning. I'm lost. It's not that I don't believe you, it's just that this is so far beyond my comprehension I can't really keep up. That's normal for humans. The ritual is like that. You're using tools you don't understand to manipulate forces you don't understand. Wow, that was helpful. It's like the flow of magic all around the world is a bunch of strings that all have their ends floating around at the poles. By doing the world tuning, we organize the strings and play them as our instrument strings. Or maybe they're the staff lines on sheet music. I almost understood that, and then it went back to making 0 sense. I'm glad I'm not the only one. The important part is that I understand it. Besides, the world tuning's kind of one of those things. You know, the one where if you think about them too hard, you lose. I get the feeling that I heard Lady Arietta speak of it in terms like that too. Really? She's easy to please. You look like you actually understood that. Perhaps. It would make an alarming amount of sense if the strings Alto refers to are actually ley lines. But as far as modern scientists know, those kinds of power sources only exist underground. That's close, but it's not really right. Things like ley lines don't just exist in the ground, they're also in the water and the air. Also, they blow around and shift a lot. They're more like spiderwebs or like veins. Oh, really? That's fascinating. I say this knowing you are a fool, but do you really believe that this knowledge should be bandied about so in front of humans? Huh? Why? I don't think you need to worry about this one. I think I've seen theories like that proposed a few times when I read about current science discoveries. I'm sure it will be tested and proven eventually anyway. Huh. Anyway, the earthquake, the storm, the sudden bad weather that won't let up. We've resolved the discord caused by Teagan, at least as well as we can. But if there's still a significant distortion remaining, then we'll probably cause similar climate problems and natural disasters again, even if we restore the grand score. The world tuning doesn't work by human logic, it works by instinct and feeling. Feelings are so important. But the more I think about it, the more I've realized that I can't always interpret my own feelings well when they're complicated. Teagan said I don't know how to feel for myself. Yeah, and while I know that was just her being a jerk and that that's wrong, I do know that whatever I'm feeling right now, it's not something that I can understand. I just don't know what to do about it. I think... Alto? I think this is also probably because of how I grew up and how much time I spent training. There wasn't time for me to think or feel. And then as Teagan got more and more controlling, I think I spent a lot of time and energy suppressing any dissatisfaction because I didn't want to estrange her or let myself be disillusioned, I guess, with her. She was my only friend, so that left me with more reason to push the things I felt away, or at least not look at them. And the end result of all of that is that I don't understand my emotions a lot of the time, unless they're simple and clear-cut. I'm almost certain that the rest of the anomaly in the world tuning comes from me, but I don't know how to pinpoint the problem or how to fix it. So at least in this case, I think it's like Teagan said, I'm defective. I don't know what to do about this, so I was hoping that there's some way, but... Alto, you are not defective. There is nothing innately wrong with you. But how else could something this big be my fault too, if... Saki's right. That was me being an ass. And the way you are about your own emotions is... It's probably something you've done subconsciously, just to not break down. Yes, you are an abuse survivor. That sort of thing leaves scars just like surgeries do. Well, you've been able to be more open about things with Teagan. I think that since you're away from your family, this is just something that will improve given time. That might be true, but we don't have time to waste. So I don't know how likely it is that there'll be any kind of solution to be had here, but... As a matter of fact, the suggestion I had for you was in regards to this very problem. Gaspoo. Really? Yes. I think the same solution as last time may provide you with the insight necessary. Last time? Yes. What do you know of the history of the world tuning? I'm pretty sure I've studied the history pretty thoroughly, but I don't think anyone but me has ever had problems like this. Unless someone's falsified historical records, I still wouldn't put that past your family. I know how you feel, but I don't think they'd do that when so much of our training methods and understanding of what we're doing comes from those historical records. Whatever else can be said about them, they do care about our duties too much to risk compromising our effectiveness like that, I think. I see. Teagan. Hey, Teagan, what was that about doing better? I do think that Alto would know about this better than someone outside her family. Okay, I'm shutting up now. Anyway, as long as the ritual's been established, I don't know of any record of this happening before. That's why it's so troublesome. That is not the history to which I am referring. Eh? Do you know the story of how the grand score was written and how the world tuning came to be? I know that Arietta Cantabile left Harmonia when she was younger than me. She traveled the world to do research and find performers, and she came home to collaborate with Altair Bonheur, the greatest magical genius of that time. I know that she took her knowledge and her intuition and convinced your people to lend your help and wisdom. I know it took her about 10 years or so, between the traveling and the theorizing and research and making Metronome Tower and writing the Grand Store. I know she thought of things no one else had thought of or considered to be too absurd to work. It was only because of her social influence and the people's desperation that she got the support she needed. I've grown up learning about the things she accomplished. I still think she was amazing. Still, it surprised me that you never knew your family originally came from Magyar. It should not surprise you. Humans are like that. Always, they sweep their wrongdoings out of sight so that they can play innocent. It's true. We don't know very much about the Cantabile family before Arietta's generation. Only the basics, like there having been an old family that hadn't had noble status for very long when she was alive. That's kind of funny, the idea of history being in fragments, missing pieces, like me. Alto. I know that I love the sensation of playing with a mixed-haired bow, the way the dark hairs hold rosin differently and grip the strings harder. I know that when I get to play after a long blank, I feel so relieved and happy it's almost better than having sex, which you now know. I know I'm happiest when I'm playing music with all of you. I know when I need to trust my instincts. I know I've wanted to grow up to be just like Arietta when I was little. I know I love Aubrey and think that they're the cutest thing ever. I know that I care about Teagan and want her to be happy, but I'm still angry at her and won't forgive her. And I know that figuring out how I felt about the whole thing with Teagan has taken me my whole journey. There's so much about me and my feelings that I don't know or understand. It does feel like I'm missing pieces. Now that I'm looking at it straight on, it does feel like there's something wrong with me. Is there something I should know that I don't? If you can tell me about it, I want to hear it. Oh, how pretty. Both the art and the music. Arietta Cantabile was a truly rare individual. She did not think like a human, she did not use magic like a human, and she did not innovate like a human. She was the first Cantabile to possess the powers that are now considered emblematic of that house, aka Boeing. From what I understand it, the two humans who gave birth to her were nothing special, and it just took 2 generations for those traits to manifest. Have you heard the truth of Magyar and the wars that had been fought immediately before the climate change set in? I've heard a little from Aubrey and the spirits in town. That Magyar was attacked by spirits, and that the human survivors and their allies didn't stop at rescuing the hostages, but did horrible things to the spirits in retribution. And that the end of the war was like that in general. I am the only spirit in the village who was alive at the time, and I was very young then. So there is a limit to what I knew, and a limit to what I can explain to you. Nevertheless, there were Cantabiles amongst the hostages taken in the pillage of Magyar, and there were Cantabiles amongst the rescuers. The Cantabile family was raised to nobility due to their outstanding performance and leadership in their attack on our villages. The individuals in question died when Arietta Cantabile was still in infancy. If her own parents knew anything, they kept as silent about it as the spirit elders of that time. and I do not know how long she herself was aware. But by the time she came in contact with us, Alto Cantabile already knew that she was the grandchild of a spirit and a human. What? You see, of course all knowledge of such a thing has long been destroyed. But we have not forgotten. We have not forgotten that your blood is anathema, that it is an abomination. Solan, there is no one alive who knows the truth. It has long been lost unto time. She could have been the result of a human crime, or a spirit one. And given the times, even a consensual relationship between a human and a spirit would have been considered taboo and not spoken of in exactly the same way. Although, the chances of that are sadly slim. Oh boy. Alto Cantabile knew that the powers she meant to use to save the world had likely come at a price most terrible. She knew that she would never have been born at all, if not for the ugliness of our two societies. I do not know if she had known her entire life, but by the time she and I had met, it was a burden she had carried for many hard years, one she had struggled with every day. I never knew. I never heard any of this. That cannot be helped. The most that you might have heard were whispers. It was too anathema a concept, even for humans. And I believe part of Ariada's silence might have been out of concern for her own safety. I do believe that you are aware that the creation of the world tuning, and especially Metronome Tower, were plagued with disasters. Yes, much like the ones you have experienced, but on a much more dramatic scale. But, everyone always said that all of that it was acts of terrorism by groups of spirits who protested the alliance and... Preposterous! Don't go blaming everything on the doings of our kind. You humans are always the same. Then... yes, those disasters were caused by mistakes on the human side. It is the consequence of tampering with the very fabric of the world's magic with uncertainties or a troubled mind. It isn't that one's distress distracts thee from thy proper task. Thy subconscious influences the world just as powerfully. Even we were initially at a loss as to what caused the metronome disasters and the rapid climate change. Alto Cantabile's magic and mind were equal parts spirit and human. None of us were entirely sure how differently she functioned from either. In the end, yes, I remember that she herself was the one who realized it. She confided in me that she often wondered if a world that had produced a creature like her could ever be worth saving. Her case was still different from yours in that she knew the nature of her own worries, but they were not something that she had confidence she could process and overcome. After a great deal of consultation, I and several other spirits, together with the help of Altair Bonheur, collaborated to create a self-contained dimension, a neat rip in space-time, nested inside the temples and the earth of this country. It is a specialized phenomenon. It is a specialized phenomenon for the purpose of meditation, a way to grant form to thoughts, feelings, and memories. Arietta named it Uncommon Time. Yo! Uncommon Time. Alto Cantabile used it to come to terms with her doubts. If you would like, we can open it again for you. It has lain dormant for nearly 2,000 years, but the passage of time should not impact its function. I was doing so well, and then my mouth decided that no, I wasn't going to be able to finish this episode without stumbling over words. Anyway, Will it be dangerous? Only as dangerous as the user's own heart. Alto, what do you think? I think it's the best option we have. I'm not afraid of dangerous situations. I don't think that I'll be able to figure this out any other way, considering how long it took me to work out just how I feel about Teagan. If you can open it up or start it up for me, I'd be grateful. Understood. I will do so. So, where is this uncommon time, and how do I get into it? The entrance we will open for thee rests at the bottom of the underground library where thee and I first met. If thee and thine can travel to the depths of the passage, thou shalt be able to enter thine own heart. The library, I see. Okay, we'll go there right away. Once we've gotten all the anomalies taken care of, then we can start on restoring the grand score. What is it? I'm sorry to impose, but could I have a little time to think? Huh? Sure, it's no big deal. Thank you. Aubrey, no. I hope they're okay. I wonder what that was about. Hey, think a little. Aubrey's parents died in the metronome disasters, right? And now they learn that the real cause of those was... or what the real cause of those was, out of the blue. Depending on when all this stuff was getting figured out, this could mean that the great magician was keeping secrets from them. It's only natural they'd be shaken up. Oh. You're right, I wasn't thinking of it like that. Don't you think you ought to go after them? Eh? It's what a good girlfriend's supposed to do, right? Now, let them go at their own pace. What? Oh, didn't we say? Alto and Aubrey got together. It's so cute. What? Aw, come on. You could act a little happy for them, couldn't you? No. Killjoy. Now. Come on, don't pick on Teagan. I'll go get Aubrey. Let's go once we're back. Oh. The borage flowers are swaying softly in the wind. Talk to me. Alto. Hey! I'm sorry for always making you chase after me like this. It's no big deal, and you're not making me do anything. Thank you. What do you think about all of this? Well, either way, it's hard for me to think of it in immediate terms, because it's still just the past to me. I don't know, I wish that we'd known this ahead of time. Maybe someone in history thought it would be easier for us Cantabiles now to not have to worry about that. But it feels a little rude to the people that were affected to not pass down the truth. The people that were affected, right. I don't know. I don't know if I want to use the word nice, but I'm glad that I'm not the only one who's ever had to deal with this. If I have that in common with Arietta, then I'm not a freak. She managed to figure this out, so maybe I can too. But I guess from your perspective, that's selfish, huh? I don't think so. Besides, at this point, it's not that it changes anything. Just like before, the deaths of all our families was Lady Arietta's fault, but at the same time, it wasn't. It's just... Yeah? It's not as though I can't understand. I guess I'm just conflicted. That's okay. Eh? Because this is really complicated. It's okay to worry about it and be conflicted. You have the room to do that and come to a conclusion slowly, so there's no rush. That's true. Yeah, it's not something you've got to decide right away. So don't push yourself, okay? Let's just do what we can do right now. Yes. Yay. Oh good, we got Aubrey. Is this the door? Yes. Go back inside. You will know the entrance to Uncommon Time when you see it. Okay, thanks for everything. Alto Cantabile was a friend to my people and I. If there is anything else that we can do to assist you, do not hesitate to say so. Cool beans. So I guess we are headed to the library in libretto. Look forward to that. Thank you for watching. I love you. Bye-bye.